Hi, and welcome to the Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building podcast presented by Wolf Precision Incorporated, where we learn about and share long range shooting and custom rifle building. I am your host, Jamie Dotson, and welcome to the show. Hi, and welcome to episode 254 of Wolf Precision's Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Dotson, and welcome back to the show. In this episode, we're going to continue on our series in which we're talking about the different levels of build kits. And of course, this one, we're going to be talking about a full custom rifle made by Wolf Precision and what that entails and why it might be the right choice for some people. We're also going to dive into some new videos we're going to be releasing later this week. We have had several chassis now come in that have just been an absolute train wreck as far as the quote-unquote drop-fit chassis, and I think it's a really great example of just how bad these can be, and some considerations of either taking some classes, going to some gunsmithing schools, or allowing people to bed. We'll talk a little bit about our bedding procedures here, and getting ready to get into our Prosumer Gunsmithing School and teaching it. The last thing I want to touch base on, which I think is just as important, is our YouTube strikes. And we want to talk about how it probably won't be too much longer. We're probably going to disappear from YouTube altogether. I think a lot of the gun makers are finding that same feeling across the board. And what we are going to be transitioning a lot of our videos over to, not just in an effort to put great content out there, but also not be filtered on the things that we have to say. What we got a strike for, you won't believe it, and we're going to share where we're going to be going. So without further ado, here we go. Well, I hope everybody had a very happy Thanksgiving, got a chance to enjoy time with family and friends, and maybe a couple of days off work. We took a 4-day vacation, which is not normal for around here. We also had an opportunity to go down. For those that do not know, we have been working with a sailboat that we had purchased in Tampa Bay several years ago. We had moved it from Tampa across to Okeechobee up to North Carolina, where she sat at Pacific Seacraft getting a lot of refit work done. And then this past summer, myself and my son-in-law brought the sailboat up from what is inside of Okeechobee to Harrington Harbor North, where we're now setting just below Annapolis to learn and train the art of sailing. So like a lot of you out there, you have your hobbies out of work. I love learning new things, and we've had boats our whole lives. And I will tell you that learning how to sail has been incredibly fun, incredibly challenging, but also the ability to learn to read the wind and what it does and how it sort of plays over from the shooting world. So it's pretty cool that I come in with a little bit of maybe a skill set that comes in handy in something other than shooting, right? So we got a chance to get down and spend some time on the boat. We're getting it winterized. We are keeping it on the water to be able to use it through some of the winter as we get some nice warm weather. And she is a pilot house and not a very big one. She's 32 feet. Maybe if you guys have some interest, we'll talk about her and share some videos with her later. No, I am not going off and being a YouTube influencer and opening up a sailing channel. That is not my interest whatsoever. This is sort of our movable oceanfront property, if that's what you want to say. So if we don't like where we're at, we don't like the scenery, we can just simply pull up anchor and move down the way a little bit, drop anchor again, and enjoy some quiet time with both me and my wife and our buddy and pal German Shepherd named Mina. So this past Thanksgiving and through this past week, we have been working on and building some rifles, completing some for customers. Again, most of our rifles here are what we consider an assembled kit -1, which means we're either leaving out the trigger, leaving out the stock. There's parts and pieces that we're going to leave out in order to save the customer the excise tax, because it gets shipped out as basically a barreled action and the customer completes it. The things that we ran into this week, which are really interesting, is we got our second super high-end chassis, and it is a build kit -1, and she's going to be bedded. And one of the caveats to us doing the build kit -1 is whether it's bedded or not, we get a chance to look over the stock and make sure that the inlet is done properly and make sure that the rifle is going to shoot properly. This one in particular was so bad, we instantly did a video on it. Now, I'm in my work shirt, I am in my work pants, nothing was staged. It was like, oh my God, this is one of the worst ones we've ever seen. Besides the one that we sent back last week, which the action didn't even fit into. It had been machined, possibly tilted fore or aft, changing the inlet so that the action actually wouldn't drop in at all. So this is two of the most extreme ones that we've seen in 20 years of doing this, outside of maybe someone sending us the wrong inlet altogether. But this is actually bad inlets, and they're both high-end chassis, and this one was worthwhile taking a minute to talk about. So when we get into the assembled -1, especially if we're only doing the barreled action or sending it out with the barreled action and the trigger, it is so, so, so important for you to know what you're doing when you're setting that into a stock. The farce or fallacy that you're just going to buy an off-the-shelf chassis, regardless of the price, mind you, and that it's just going to drop fit in perfectly and not move, not shift, not go all over the place. It's not going to happen. And the risk to you is that you've put all your high hopes in all these high-end components, and then you drop it in this stock or chassis that I really consider to be like tires on your sports car, right? It's where you get your traction, and you're going to be all over the place. Like you're slipping and sliding at every turn. You can barely hold it on the road. Well, that's what's happening when you have a bad inlet job. Your accuracy is all over the place. It's not locking in right. You're putting a lot of stress into the receiver, which if you want to watch the video that we're releasing here shortly, numbing, like just, I would say as a builder, panicked that, so many of these customers that we send stuff out to, hey, I already have my action. Go ahead and send me the ace in the barrel and I'll fit everything up here. Gosh, you got to take these classes. You've got to take the online classes. You've got to know what you're looking for and how to look at things. You've got to come in and take a prosumer gunsmithing course, because this is going to make a train wreck of what should have been an awesome experience and turn it into an awful experience. I'll give you another example, and I'm not going to stay on this very long, but we went out the week before Thanksgiving to do some filming. Our goal was to film the chronograph speeds and do some work with one of the carbon stocks by MDT. And we did put a carbon barrel in it, which is one of the older IBIs, which we were pretty happy with. The new IBIs I have no experience with since they brought on some investors or a new owner, whatever they did there. We decided to hold tight and not do anything, at least until we see how their track record goes. With the carbon wrap barrels, we have been using some Bart lines, but Bart lines are super expensive. So anyway, we went out to do some filming, and the first group was pretty good. A couple shots went in, they were decent. And I mean, it just went to hell in a handbag. And this is one of our school receivers, and it was in the MDT carbon stock. And we went and grabbed the action screws, and sure enough, they pulled down, and then they pulled down some more, and then they pulled down some more. And so it was basically spreading out what I would think maybe the bedding block, or it wasn't seated properly. So what I had said to my wife, who's also our office manager here, is that with a lot of these, especially the ones that have like the inserts, although it's a great idea, bedding is the only way you're mirroring that is to bed that bedding block system in there, and maybe even firm up the epoxy that's around it with some Devcon or something. But it just wasn't where I would expect it to be. If it was my rifle, I would have bedded it. So we did bring the chassis back and the stock back, and we are going to bed it. But one of the telltale signs to me is when we tightened it to 45 inch-pounds, it really shouldn't have moved much to 45 to 65. It had really good contact. And as we went from 45 to 65, those screws were turning. And that's telling me it's drawing in. These are things that you learn, with 20-some years, 30-some years of working with rifles. I'm getting older, as much as I'm in denial. But with that old, I have gone through all of the experiences of both knowing and unknowing, and have learned all of these lessons through both knowledge and classes and old school of hard knocks. Like just trying to figure it out, A, being what's going on, and narrowing it down and changing one thing at a time until you finally isolate what the problem is. And that process is pretty intense. So when we're working on new products, when we're working on new items, if we have or see something that we're just not quite sure, hey, that's not performing the way it's supposed to, especially when it comes to like other people's parts. Think of optics, think of scopes, think of your chassis and stocks. We'll start to isolate. So we'll go through our standard checks of checking everything on the stock or chassis, making sure that your pick rail isn't loose. It's common. A lot of stocks we've gotten here over the years that the pick rail was attached, but it wasn't tightened, and so you assume, start shooting and your pick rail comes loose. That can be a really big problem. But we start to A/B the problems out. And then eventually, if we still say, hey, this isn't exactly where it's supposed to be, we'll bet it and see what that does. And a lot of times, a proper betting job solves a lot of these issues. It's basically your actions riding in there on these two thin rails that look like railroad tracks along the side, the width of a number 2 pencil, not the pencil itself, the lead inside. And that's what's holding your action from shifting around. Any twist, anything that's off from front to back, left to right, think of pitch and yaw. That binds your receiver, and then under stress or under shooting, it can actually start to move around and cause some issues, including loosening your action screws up really, really quickly. So when we do the build kit -1, I'm actually sort of breathe a little bit of sigh of relief that we actually most of the time get a chance to check the stock or the chassis for proper inlet and make sure that everything is seated properly. When we send out, of course, just the components, the big thing is to do the Prosumer Gunsmithing School online. The Wolf Pack that we're launching right now, in which this is going to be a video released later this week, and it's free. It's because you ask. It's the BYA, right? It's going to be under our Prosumer Gunsmithing page. This is going to be free to watch from anybody. But we're going to show you this stock and chassis. It is just jaw-dropping. And it's not a nitpick on the manufacturer. We're not pointing it out saying, well, hey, this manufacturer makes junk, because they don't. They make a lot of great stuff. But that said, though, this stuff slips through the cracks. It slips through the cracks and it causes you the issues, right? And now you, with little to no experience in building custom rifles, are stuck trying to solve this problem. And so I think it's a great example of what to look for and how bad it really can be. For the customer that's looking for the completed rifle, and we probably do about, I would say 10 to 20% of our rifles leave here full builds, everything done. The full custom rifle is if I built it 20 years ago by hand, everything turnkey, ready for the customer to go and enjoy. The customers that really want to be at that level, or the customers that typically want a rifle at that level, are usually guys that just don't want to mess with any of it. There are a lot of people that have so many other responsibilities in life and so many other things are linked them. They just want a great rifle. They don't want to change the tire on a car, not because they can't. They just choose not to. Or maybe they really don't have time. So if they have the convenience of calling somebody to come and change it while they check emails or do whatever they have to do, then fine. And so the beauty of it is it's a turnkey system. It is open a box up and you are ready to go. And if you purchase your optics through us, we install it, we bore sight it, we shoot it, we get everything ready to go. That way you have a great experience right out of the gate. And of course, if you join our Wolf Pack membership at the $75 a month, or what we consider the Alpha Pack membership, you actually get access to our range and you get 2 hours of private training. So whether it's at the range or whether it's here at our facility learning how to build, maintain it, and take care of it, you get 2 hours on us. You can come in and join us and we'll take care of you. We also have access to what we would consider our Armory, in which you can come in and work on and maintain your rifle. The visit to the Armory is free. If you do require assistance, there is a charge for the helper that's going to be helping you, but your visit here at that level is free. And it's a great opportunity to break your rifle down and redo it. So what a lot of customers want is, listen, I just want a great shooting rifle. I'll learn how to build it, maintain it later. This is not uncommon. So we have a customer that had purchased a rifle way back in 2021. They are ready for a rebarrel. And in part of that rebarrel, they're going to come in and join us as part of this program, and they're going to do it under our guidance. So they're close enough that they're within a day's drive. They can come in, bring their rifle in, jump into our Armory back here, and go through the entire process with us. And then they'll start to learn about building and maintaining the rifle. They've already got confidence in it. It's been a great rifle for years. They just need someone to walk them through the next step, which is learning how to build it and maintain it and change the parts yourself. So we do about 10 to 20% of those rifles like that. And then with some of the different Wolf Pack programs, you've got opportunities later to come in and start building and maintaining it and learning more about it. Now, to touch base on YouTube a little bit, we got our first strike, which surprises me. Actually, I thought we'd have a lot more. And in the video that they striked us on, we were simply talking about having a vise on your bench for cleaning your rifle. So think of like a gunsmithing vise. And all we said while sitting at a table is with a rifle is we said, hey, if you're going to actually break this rifle down and clean it, we really recommend that you buy a gunsmithing vise to put on your bench. So that way you can take your scope and barreled action out, or take your barreled action out, then take your scope off and just put that in your vise to clean it. Well, they gave us the strike at talking about the gunsmithing vise and taking your barreled action out. We didn't do anything. We didn't show it. And we weren't teaching anything dangerous. We weren't showing modifications. We weren't, it's not a Glock switch or whatever the heck they want to call it. They gave us a strike. It's not against any of their policies. We didn't do anything wrong. We appealed it. They denied our appeal. So we get another strike. They remove us from being able to post for a week. We get another strike. They delete our channel. And I said to our team members here, it's going to happen. They're going to delete us. I mean, what really makes me the most upset about YouTube and Google and all Mother Earth, evolved around this whole ecosystem is the fact that you can go on YouTube and you can watch teenagers, in translucent whatever, trying on clothes. That's okay. But I can't talk about a gunsmithing vise and how to properly take your barreled action out without showing you, just saying, hey, you got to take your barreled action out. That's how we do it. We take our stock off when we clean our rifles. I get a strike and get tossed off the channels or get tossed off YouTube altogether. But you can walk around half naked or, I love all the stuff that pops up all the time. And you're looking at it like, that's soft porn. Like, I can't believe they allow that. But yet I get tossed about talking about putting a gunsmithing vise on your bench so you can help to clean your rifle. It's pretty amazing. And I appealed it and got struck out again. But they allow all the other garbage out there. So it just tells you the writing's on the wall. Anything to do with firearms, they're going to make it disappear. They might keep a couple of the really famous channels just because of the blowback and the fact that some of these channels have hundreds of thousands of followers, maybe millions. And they just don't want to lose the revenue. So that's pat in their pocket. Okay, we'll let these guys slide. But everybody else, you're out of here. And they hide us. Like on YouTube, we have 200, 300 videos on there of different things, including a lot of the podcast stuff. And we never come up in searches. We never come up. It's never suggested. The algorithms hide us, basically almost deleting us anyway. And so people just don't find us or know who we are, or it never pops up on any searches. It's just how it is. So in order to preemptively get ahead of this, when we did any of our gunsmithing stuff, especially with anything with, let's just say our online reloading class, because some of those we actually posted up on YouTube as free. And so we did the same thing with our online long range shooting school, is anything of importance, we hosted it through another company called Vimeo, which we can then control. And if YouTube tears down our entire channel, we don't lose all of our hard work or we're scrambling trying to upload everything. It's sort of hidden and it's ours. We own it. What we're doing now as we speak is we are slowly, although we'll still post on YouTube till they throw us off, is we're going to promote the heck out of and move all of our video content over to Rumble. It's the alternative to YouTube. It is nowhere near as popular. I mean, you're talking 1/10,000th its size, without a doubt. But at least we can post stuff on Rumble, and then we can link it back to our website. We can link it back to our Prosumer Gunsmithing School, like this whole segment we're going to do because you ask. Well, I don't want to make it part of our paid Patreon support. I don't want to make it part of our paid Wolfpack. Although it's only $15 a month for the Prosumer Gunsmithing School and the online long-range shooting school, this is stuff I just want to give back. I think it's just great information. And so anything highlighted in red is free. And so you can click on it and it'll probably go to Rumble. We may link it to YouTube and have a backup of it on Rumble in case it gets deleted. But, if this is how YouTube's going to behave, we'll do a teaser on YouTube and then we're just going to post everything on Rumble anyway because it's just going to delete us. I mean, the strike that we got was nothing more than talking about a shop vise to hold a barreled action with rubber jaws. We talked about it. We had a rifle setting in front of us and we said, hey, when we clean a rifle, we take the barreled action out and the scope off. We didn't show it. We didn't do it. That's where they marked it as a strike. And I just a total, well, let's just face it. We knew it was coming, so it's no big deal. Now, before we continue on, I do want to say a shout out and give a couple thanks to some of our sponsors. The first of our sponsors is Krieger Barrels. Krieger has a new program called Krieger Direct where you can get your barrel in as little as 2 to 3 business days. They keep a lot of their barrels in stock and in inventory, so you can browse through and sometimes catch stuff that they have. They also have their sales page, and which might be barrels that somebody ordered and just canceled. And so they'll continue making that barrel. They'll put it up there for you to purchase. And it's a really great way to get your barrel in a very short lead time. And then Krieger's lead time right now, I believe, is right around 12 to 14 weeks, which isn't all that bad compared to what they were years ago, out to a year. So if you want the best, we really do and support Krieger. They have been some of the best barrels we've ever built on. They're hand lapped, they're a family-owned business, they're cut rifling, there's all the good things that you want, including their very particular attention to the stress and all the other things that happen when they actually make these barrels. We throw our full support behind them. It is our go-to barrel here. If you want to learn more, you can stop over to KriegerBarrels.com. That's KriegerBarrels.com today. We also like to thank Trigger Tech. They are a fantastic supporter of the podcast. We have used them forever here. They are our go-to and really the only trigger that we use in any of our builds here. And we do that because they are the easiest to install, easiest to adjust, and in my opinion, one of the safest triggers on the market. So if you want to upgrade your rifle and you want to do it with a trigger, we really highly recommend stopping over to Trigger Tech, and that's triggertech.com. Last but not least, MDT. Can't forget about them. They are really growing as a stock and chassis manufacturer. They are offering a lot of new great stuff out there. The ACC Elite, the J. Allen, the new Carbon, the new Timber. I mean, the list goes on. And they offer a lot of the great accessories that you're going to need or things that you might want later on. That is a great asset to purchasing a really good chassis, is having the availability to all the aftermarket gadgets and gadgets and things that you might want to add later on. And they probably have the biggest selection on the planet. So if you would like to upgrade your rifle, you can stop over to mdttac.com. That's mdttac.com today. So stopping back over and talking about the Prosumer Gunsmithing School and the Armory real quick. The Armory here will be open about March 1st. We're actually going to start posting up some of the content for the Prosumer Gunsmithing School. Some of it is the Because You Asked segment that you'll see some of the stuff highlighted you can actually enjoy for free. We really recommend you stop over to the Wolfpack program if you're interested in either joining us for any type of the online or in-person training, but also if you're interested in one of our custom rifles. By joining the Wolfpack, which we have a $15 program, a $35 program, and a $75 program, which includes limited access to our range, you not only get all these benefits that we list from all the different online classes, but you also get 10, 20, and 30% off your ACE and all the labor that is involved in building your custom rifle. So what we're really trying to encourage you to do is look, you're going to build a rifle with us. Let us give you some of that money back and go ahead and invest it into the Wolfpack program to learn something. We want to give that money back to you to encourage you to jump in and take some of these classes because it really is a win-win. For us, we're able to get you all the knowledge and things that you're really going to call and ask us. I usually spend at least a couple hours a week answering common questions that you are going to run into over and over again. And some of these questions are already answered, like on our online reloading class or in our online long-range shooting school. We had a gentleman call about first and second focal plane and wanted to ask 20 questions for a half an hour. And I was like, I have hours of this content up there, that you can enjoy and visit. And it's only $15 a month, and you can subscribe and unsubscribe whenever you would like. One of the other things with the Wolfpack program, for those, we call it our Founding 500. The first 500 subscribers, regardless of the tier that you sign up at, will get your name engraved on some of the plaques that we're going to have hanging outside of the Armory on March 1st. So if you like your name permanently engraved here in the Armory wall as our way of saying thanks to being one of our founding members of the Wolfpack, sign up today. You can learn more at wolfprecision.net and just look for the Wolfpack link, or you can stop over to Patreon. Now, Patreon is 18 years and older. You have to show or prove your ID to be able to log in, and we do that to protect ourselves, of course, from any liability from anyone who's on there that shouldn't be, as far as their age requirements. So stop over to Wolf Precision and look for the Wolfpack link today. So we will be working on getting a lot of our videos over the Rumble, and I'm really going to encourage you to stop over and take a look at this video we're going to be posting up. It should go up somewhere around December 4th or December 5th, and it should be there for you to see. It is jaw-dropping how much movement and how much stress is in this particular stock or chassis. And it's one of the reasons why we really recommend bedding. Now, I'm going to talk about bedding here just for a couple moments because it's worthwhile speaking to. Myself and Bruce included from Bat Machine, we both agree that if you want a quarter-minute gun, you should probably bed the rifle. It's the only way you're going to get a perfect mirror for your receiver into the actual stock, which is holding your chassis. One of the things that are really important when we do this is starting with a known perfectly straight and true chassis, which is one of the reasons why we stay with super high-quality chassis like Bat Machine. We are training a new team member, and we were going over bedding yesterday, so it was a great opportunity to show him how bad some of these chassis can actually be. One of the things that I explained to him is that one of the reasons why we always stay with super high-end receivers that are a known quality and entity is the fact that we know that the problem is in the stock, not the receiver. Where if this was a Remington 700 that we were bedding, the receiver itself can be out around and can have a wobble to it. So it can be bowed. There's all kinds of things that happen that now you don't know, is it the receiver or is it the chassis? Well, in this case, because we stay with this high-end or higher quality actions like we always do, we know that the problem lies in the stock and we're confident in that. And that's sort of why we go that route. So I asked Dan to go and grab my iPhone, and we took a couple minutes and we shot the video sort of showing you what we look for and how bad it can actually be. And in this case scenario, this would have been a nightmare for the customer. This would have definitely put a lot of stress into the receiver, and I'll guarantee the gun wasn't going to perform. Now, when we bed rifles, we actually bed the rifles with the barrel off. And I know that might be shocking to some people and to some gunsmiths, maybe be blasphemy. We don't bed onto the barrel. So the back of the recoil lug, underneath front action screw, and back at the tang. We're trying to control the receiver and give it really great contact in the control point areas that we think are important. And by bedding it without the barrel attached, we can actually bed it stress-free a little bit easier because we're not working against the barrel pulling down in the front of the receiver, if that makes sense. So anytime we bed a rifle here, we do it with just the action, no barrel involved. Just a little side tip. Now, when we start teaching and getting into the Armory and our Prosumer Gunsmithing School, we will probably cover in later segments bedding a rifle, and we'll go through this process. And if you would like to spend the day in here and learn how to do it, you can schedule the time and come in with a Wolf Precision rifle, mind you, and we will go through the process of teaching you how to bed the rifle. Of course, there'll be an hourly fee involved if you would like to do that, but I think it's worthwhile to take the time to maybe show you and let you bed your rifle under some guidance. That said, the rule here is that if you're going to come in and use our Armory, we're not doing it for factory rifles. We're not doing it for other manufactured rifles. This is a service, and this is something that is to support our customers who have our rifles, and we just don't have the time to dedicate to anything other than that. It would be unfair or unwise for us to put the hours into having somebody come in with a different receiver, a different unknown this, unknown that, and have one of our guys tied up all day working on a project with it. It's just not something that we normally do. And so the Armory visits will be strictly limited to working on and working with either our Wolf Precision rifles or the ACE system. Last but not least, just a really quick update. I want to let everybody know we got 4 PSC stocks in. They are on the website now. The PSC stocks are one of our favorites as far as full carbon and carbon rods inside. Really beautiful inlet. I mean, one of the nicest Irish-made stocks I've ever seen. We got 4 of them in. There are 2 with Arca rails, 2 without. We got 2 different colors, so we got 2 of each color. And they are just a fantastic carbon fiber stock. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. We got them in. Their usually lead times can be 14 to 26 weeks. So we ordered 4 of them for inventory. They're on our stocks page or specials page. If you want to start your custom rifle build, it's really great to get ahead of the curve and actually have a stock in hand. The other thing I want to throw out real quick on the podcast, just some updates, is we just received 3 Vesper short action bat receivers. They are the ultralight steel receivers, some of the toughest, straightest, most accurate receivers you can buy on the planet, period. And we got 1 in 223, we got 1 in 308 bolt face, and we got 1 in a Magnum bolt face. Again, the lead times on these things are horrifically long. We got 3 of them in to put in inventory that if the customer wanted to try to have at least a majority of the important components, we have some in stock and on hand to start your build today. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us here on the podcast. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content and you would like to share it, please feel free to do so. It helps us a lot with our ratings. If you'd like to leave a comment down below, we'd appreciate that as well. I will put the link down below for our Wolfpack and Patreon page, as well as our Rumble account, where we'll be posting up a video for this particular chassis that was just a train wreck of an inlet that absolutely without a doubt needed to be vetted, and we're going to send up a video for you to see that as well. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us here at contact@wolfprecision.net. Lastly, we just announced our August class is open for our long-range shooting school, and then we have a couple of slots open in September and October of 2026. All of our classes through July are full. So August, September, October have probably about 15 slots left. If you'd like to join us for our 3-day in-person long-range shooting school, the classes are limited to 5 students. I teach every single class. You'll be spending time with me here at the range. And it's really a 4-day class in 3 days. And we get away with that because we keep the classes small and we're very well organized. We've been teaching this particular subject with the long range shooting school for going on 20 years. We are one of the oldest long range shooting schools in the country. So thank you everybody for taking the time to join us. I really appreciate it. My name is Jamie Dotson. I'm your host, and you're listening to Wolf Precision's Long Range Shooting and Custom Rifle Building Podcast.